This is fine.
I just recorded this whole video without pressing record. Hi, my name's Jonny, and today I want to talk about some bass pedal manufacturers. I'm not really sure what this list is going to be. It's not really the best bass pedal manufacturers. These are more just my recommendations on a few companies that make some cool bits of gear that I think you guys should check out. Now, of course, it goes without saying, I don't own all of the pedals that I'm going to be talking about here today, so I can't showcase all of the sounds and demos of each one. That's for you guys to do after this video. Before you go anywhere, make sure you like this video and subscribe for even more bass related content. This video is in no particular order, so we're just going to kick things off with a company that I think deserves to be a lot bigger than what they are, and that is Goliath Effects. Goliath Effects are a small business, one-man show in the north of England. I say the north, but I'm from the south, so anything above like Birmingham for me is north. If you are into metal and distorted bass tones, this is the company that you need to be keeping your eye on. What I really like about Goliath is the custom nature of all the pedals, whilst not having some like insane price tag attached. The ice drive is a great dual distortion. You can go from a warmer low gain, switch over to this more kind of like bombastic over the top drive, and yeah, having that all in one pedal is really great, I think. Bases the pedals on existing famous circuits and then just adapts them. Like, oh, you wanted this famous fuzz to just be better on bass? Here you go, you know, like that kind of mentality towards it, which is perfect for us. The aesthetic of the pedals as well is super unique. I love the crackle on some of them, and also the comic book finishes, which are made from real comics often, which is, yeah, a really cool touch, and something that you only get from a small business. So support small business. Lastly, one thing that Goliath did recently that I thought was really cool are these custom made DI boxes. So if you're looking for a solution to have a dry DI signal or split it, Goliath is the place to be. These are some really cool and flexible DI box and switchers that you can have here, which is something that pages and pages on forums of people looking for products exactly like this. So make sure you go and check it out for yourself. Is this recording? That is good. It is recording. Next up, I want to talk about a company that doesn't do loads of pedals specifically for bass, but what they do is really good. And that is Source Audio. If you're into synth bass, you'll probably already be aware of the Source Audio C4 pedal. Well renowned and highly regarded for some really tweakable and diverse synth sounds. I'm not a big synth guy myself, but the other pedals that they do are also really good. They've got a brand new compressor that sounds great, their ultra wave distortion, which is a multi-band distortion and fuzz and tremolo built into one. I love weird effects when they're all added together. I think it's really cool. And my personal favorite, the Aftershock. You can switch between fuzz, distortion and overdrive, and on my podcast recently we were talking about what pedals we regret selling, and that was my pick. It sounded so good. In a kind of similar realm to Source Audio, SolidGoldFX are a company that don't make many pedals that are specific for bass, but their whole lineup is really usable, and there are a few gems in there that I want to talk about. In particular, I have to talk about the Beta Overdrive. The Beta 5 is their newest one, and it is absolutely amazing for those low gain drive. This preamp is amazing for adding a little bit of warmth and saturation to your tone, just making everything sound that little bit more expensive, I think. It can get fuzzy and driven if you turn it all the way up, but low gain is where it's at with this pedal. They have a whole range of other drives, fuzzes and modulations. I want to talk about the Imperial Mark II fuzz. You might have seen Patrick Hunter doing a demo of this. It's the one with the big sliders on it. And yeah, sounds amazing in that video. I haven't tried any SolidGoldFX pedals, but definitely a company I want to check out. Therefore, I wanted to share it with you, as you might want to also do the same. Next up, let's talk about Earthquaker devices. If you haven't heard of Earthquaker, I expect you've definitely seen them. They look amazing on anyone's pedal board. Really interesting, diverse lineup of effects they've got, and some really unique and tweakable tones you can get out of them. They definitely think outside the box. If you're after something a little bit different and want to make your tone kind of unique to you a little bit more as a bass player, I definitely recommend taking a look at their lineup. The two in particular that interest me are the Plumes, which is a really great sounding drive pedal, not just for guitar, and also the Dispatch Master. Now, we don't often use delay and reverb in bass, therefore having it all in one pedal I think is ideal. Yeah, there's some great sounding demos out there, so I definitely recommend checking those out for yourself. In a similar realm is Way Huge Electronics. This is another company that doesn't just do effects aimed at guitar, aimed at bass. They're kind of just open, like, yeah, you know, you could use them on both. Now, they've got all sorts of different effects, your classic modulations, delay and reverb, and a multitude of drives. The ones in particular that you often see on bass players' pedal boards, the Swollen Pickle, which is a really heavy fuzz tone, which I've demoed on this channel, the Pork Loin drive pedal, and the Pork and Pickle, which is a combination of the Pork Loin and the Swollen Pickle. Just from the names, you can tell that these are amazing pedals. Now, lots of these companies, of course, have a very diverse lineup and lots of different effects. And you might not be looking for that. You might be looking for something that has everything all in one. And that's why I want to kind of pivot a little bit now and talk about Zoom. Now, back in the day, first pedal you got and like not very good, and like see it on people's pedal boards and be like, this guy wouldn't know good tone if it slapped him in the ears. But having revisited Zoom in recent years, that is just not the case. They are fantastic sounding multi-effects units, from the really small Stomp box version up to the full like B24, I think is their most recent model. Really great effects, all designed for bass, and even including lots of famous amps, so you could have your entire rig all in one place. My recommendation is to go and check out AMP the bass player on YouTube. His Sounds Like series is amazing, getting some incredible and obviously super diverse sounds, emulating all sorts of different artists solely using these Zoom multi-effects pedals. So yeah, go and check it out for yourself.
This video is brought to you by the Gig Strap Pro by D&A Guitar Gear. It's essentially a handy little sleeve that goes onto your strap to make it even more comfortable for those really long shows. As well as looking like an absolute baller, you'll feel like one too, as it helps alleviate a bit of neck dive. Get 10% off anything from their shop with my discount.
Next up, let's talk about EBS. So if you didn't know, EBS actually stands for Excellent Bass Stuff. Or at least it should, because in the amp department, they absolutely nail it. In the cab department, they nail it. And unsurprisingly, in the pedal department, they nail it. I've had a really good experience with EBS pedals, in particular with the multi-comp. If you really like the sound of compression, and you're just getting into it, but you're not sure what all the knobs do and all the controls, definitely check out the multi-comp. It is a really compact and amazing sounding compressor. Not too expensive and not loads of controls on there, so it's nice and simple while still allowing some flexibility for you to tweak your sound. Got loads of other effects as well, including their micro bass preamp, a tube overdrive, and some artist pedals as well, from Stanley Clarke to the legendary Billy Sheehan with his signature drive pedal. A lot of these artist pedals seem to have like multi-drive settings on them, so you can have like a low gain setting and then a higher gain setting to put on and off. My clean tone is fairly driven, so I really like the idea of having that, and then like a second gain stage to really boost it for heavier sections. I think that's a great feature. This feature also pops up on other artist model pedals from the next company I want to talk about, which is Ashdown Engineering. Ashdown are, of course, a household name in the amp department. They recently made waves by stepping into the instrument market as well with their range of basses, but not many people seem to talk about their pedals that much, and I think that's a real shame because their pedals are amazing. We've got those signature pedals from Nate Mendel, Geezer Butler, and more. The ABM Pro series look really great. but I want to talk about two pedals in particular. Number one being the triple shot drive. Such a simple but great concept. 3-band preamp, bass, middle, treble, and then you can control how much drive is on each frequency. So you can keep your low end completely clean and then just add drive to your treble and mid. Why aren't more people doing that? Great idea for bass players. The other one I want to talk about is the Ant. Now this kind of isn't a pedal, but it does sit on your pedal board. This is a 200-watt power amp for driving a speaker cab. So what it means is that you can have your entire rig, just pair it up with any kind of preamp, and yeah, just have your whole rig on a pedal board instead of carrying around a bass head. I've been test driving this one for a little while now, and it sounds really good. No problem keeping up with the drummer with that 200 watts as well. This is what I really like about Ashdown. They're doing things that bass players want and that they need. Definitely check out their range of pedals. And last but not least, I couldn't show you that pedal board there without talking about some of the preamps and things that we've got going on. And that is because it's featuring lots of pedals from Origin Effects. Probably most famous in the bass world for their Cali 76 compressor, Origin Effects have really stepped up the game for bass players and treated us over the last couple of years with their bass rig preamps. The blue one is the Super Vintage, so that's modeling the SVT with an 8x10 cab sim on the DI, and then the black panel 64, which is a Fender Bassman. I'm kind of going between the two at the minute, that's why they're both on my board, and I am absolutely loving both of these. They are expensive, it's not a budget brand, I can't not recommend them, I think they're amazing. A notable one recently is also the DCX drive and tone shaper pedal. A really great and diverse pedal based on the Universal Audio 610 Studio preamp. This thing is great for low gain or adding a bit of warmth and saturation, as this one also has the ability to have a separate gain setting and crank it up to get these fuzzy warm tones. So Origin Effects there concludes my list. Let me know in a comment down below what pedals and pedal manufacturers you would recommend for bass players to check out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you click like and subscribe. It really helps us to reach more people on this channel. Once again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.